Victor Osimhen is once again at the center of one of the biggest transfer stories in European football. The Nigerian superstar is currently with Galatasaray, but Arsenal's interest has put his future firmly back in the spotlight. Is Osimhen really on his way to the Premier League? What is stopping the deal, and could his wages become the biggest obstacle? In this video, we'll examine the Victor Osimhen transfer saga, the club's interest in him, Arsenal's position, and what could happen before the transfer window closes. Let's get into it. How did we get here? Victor Osimhen's transfer story has been one of the most talked about sagas involving an African footballer. After his impressive years at Napoli, Osimhen eventually made his move to Galatasaray permanent in 2025 for a reported £75 million. That deal made him the most expensive signing in the history of Turkish football. He also signed a 4-year contract with the Turkish Giants, and Osimhen has certainly repaid the faith shown in him. He quickly became one of Galatasaray's most important players and one of the biggest stars in Turkish football. But now, just 1 year into his permanent Galatasaray adventure, another huge transfer story has emerged. And this time, the destination being disclosed is England. Why does Arsenal want Osimhen? Arsenal are looking to strengthen their attacking options, and Victor Osimhen fits the profile of the powerful, aggressive and clinical striker that many clubs would love to have. He brings pace, he brings physical strength, he attacks, crosses, he can stretch defenses with his speed, and perhaps most importantly, he knows how to score goals. Arsenal's interest has reportedly gone beyond simple speculation. The Gunners have held discussions concerning Osimhen's availability with Galatasaray. So this is no longer simply a case of fans imagining Osimhen in an Arsenal shirt. There have been actual discussions. But there is a big problem: his salary. This is where the transfer saga becomes complicated. Osimhen is reportedly earning a very substantial package at Galatasaray. One recent report says his current deal is worth more than £20 million per year, while the Galatasaray estimates vary depending on how bonuses and different components of the contracts are calculated, as now reportedly do not want to match those financial demands. The message from London club is therefore quite clear. If Osimhen wants to join us now, he may have to accept less money. That could be the biggest obstacle standing between the Nigerian striker and the Premier League. Will Osimhen accept a payout? This is perhaps the biggest question in the entire saga. Osimhen is already earning a huge salary at Galatasaray, so why would he voluntarily take less money? The answer could be ambition. The Premier League is one of the biggest stages in world football. A move to us now would give Osimhen the opportunity to prove himself in English football and compete at the highest level in one of the most watched leagues. But football is also a business. Osimhen must decide whether playing in Premier League is worth sacrificing part of his current financial package, and that decision could determine everything. What about Galatasaray? Galatasaray are not simply going to give their superstar away. Osimhen is a major asset for the Turkish champions, and the club reportedly remains reluctant to lose him. Remember, they paid £5 million to bring him permanently from Napoli. So Galatasaray will want a deal that makes financial sense for them. Reports have suggested figures around £60 million to £70 million range, but these are reported figures rather than a confirmed final Arsenal offer. That distinction is important. There is a lot of transfer speculation circulating, but as of today, there is still no official announcement that Osimehen has joined Arsenal. Could any club enter the race? Another club enter the race? Absolutely. Victor Osimhen is not a player who will lack suitors. He has previously attracted interest from some of Europe's biggest clubs, and Saudi Arabia clubs have also linked with major offers. That means Arsenal cannot afford to take too long if they genuinely want him. The longer negotiations continue, the greater the possibility that another club would step in, and that is what makes his transfer saga so interesting. What does Osimhen want? The Nigerian striker has reportedly shown openness to a move to the Premier League. But being interested in England is not the same thing as agreeing to Arsenal's times. That is why the coming days could be decisive. Will Osimhen accept Arsenal's financial conditions? Will Arsenal increase their offer? Will Galatasaray lower their demands? Or will Osimhen remain in Istanbul? At this moment, all four possibilities remain on the table. Our verdicts. For me, the Victor Osimhen to Arsenal story is possible, but far from guaranteed. Arsenal have genuine interests. Osimhen has the quality to play for us now. But the financial side of the deal is proving complicated. And until Osimhen, Galatasaray and Osimhen agree on the transfer fee and personal terms, we should not tell our viewers that the deal is done. One thing, however, is certain. Victor Osimhen's future is once again one of the biggest transfer stories in football, and Nigerian football fans will be watching very closely. So, Victor Osimhen become an Arsenal player? At the moment, nobody can say for certain. There is interest, there have been discussions, and Osimhen has the quality to make a huge impact in the Premier League. But his wages, Arsenal's financial position, and Galatasaray's demands could ultimately decide whether this transfer happens. For Nigeria football fans, one thing is clear: we'll be watching this story very closely. But now, I want to hear from you. Should Victor Osimhen join us now, or should he remain at Galatasaray? Drop your answer in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next football story. And remember, until the contract is signed, the transfer is now done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.